receiving the candidates. And so I'm part of the University of Minnesota core recruiting team, and then I also support our Michigan State recruiting team as well. And so the things that, probably the biggest change that we've seen is starting much earlier in the process. So we actually have programs, we develop programs where we go and we either take over a classroom, we teach a classroom for a day on what sourcing is, and we go to freshman-oriented student groups. So what we like to do is we have an event called Sourcing Career Day, and we invite both on-present and virtual students to attend a day where they learn about what journals is, what sourcing is. We do some mock interviews, we do these different tactics, and then ultimately from that we get an idea of how these students compete, so that we stay in contact with some of these students over their sophomore year, and then potentially give them offers in the summer of their sophomore and junior year. So before they even go back to campus, we've already fast-tracked and identified high-potential students we've already given offers to. So the biggest change for us is moving it much earlier. We're in a very competitive landscape. We're competing with the P&Gs, the Crafts of the world, the Apples, and the Amazons for talent, and so we need to get as soon as we can. So I think that's probably the biggest shift in the recruiting process for us, is getting much earlier. So if you are a junior, meeting us in the springtime, looking for an internship, the odds of us having one are very, very small. And at that point, we've already seen all these other students that have stayed in contact with us for over years. And so, that's kind of the ideal way that we like to identify and assess talent, is very early on in the process. There's still opportunities for other areas, but that's the main way we like to do it. And then once we bring them on site, we do interviews, and then you take the Wonderlic test. And so that is just a kind of a logical reasoning aptitude test that really gets to understand how you can process information and put patterns and things together. None of those results are ever shared within the organization. HR is the only one that will see that. You'll never see your results, but there's a certain threshold that they like and don't like in candidates. Other than that, some of the things we use definitely early in career, we use the Myers-Briggs profiles. We also use the strengths finders. We use the CARE profile. So how do you skew towards innovation? Those are all the things that we take, and then as we think about your career development, how do those all play together? And then where can your strengths within a team overlap so that there aren't gaps in developing like that? But one really is the main aptitude test that we do with new hires coming in.
So this is the same Wonderlic that Andrew Luck got a 50 out of 50 on, or something like that?
Exactly. So no idea what I got on it, but hopefully it's good enough. So.
Okay.
The process in a lot of ways, the recruiting function is centralized, so a little bit different than Jeremy's. And we have partnerships with different schools, University of Minnesota being one of them. We have a pretty strong presence. And we try to start ourselves as the same as Jeremy always. There is a war for talent out there, and you want to try to get to the best student the fast you can. Now, I also, as an HR manager, I think some of the best candidates are the ones that are applying for jobs. They're not looking for jobs. So we try to have also alternative way to finding the best talent. And I think as an applicant, you also, sometimes the best jobs are not even posted. So you have to try to network in different ways with people inside of the organization, whether it's through a lunch or a breakfast, to find those great opportunities. So we partner with universities. We have an assessment, a leadership assessment. What I will say about the assessment is we don't use it as a knockout factor. So we try to improve the reliability of the whole recruiting process by having interviews, having an assessment, maybe a lunch with some leaders of the organization, having a better picture of what the person will be once and how they will perform in the role. But there is no pass-fail factor for the test. There are better score than others, but if you were an intern and you have some proven results, and then you're moving into a leadership role, and you take the assessment and you didn't do so well, there are options to discuss what that may be, what that means exactly, and there is leniency for the leaders to make decisions about that process.
I saw some of the faces go up and he said that sometimes the best jobs are the ones that are never advertised. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Had you ever if you're an employer, you ever have a recruiter reach out to you and try to pull you into a job in another company? I know I have. I'm not looking for a job, but they try to, because they know of an opening that will be happening in certain company, and they have been commissioned as a recruiting firm to find somebody. And the job is still not posted or anything, so that's one of the things I was making reference to. Are those jobs that are aligned with the company's strategy, that may be growing a particular region, and you know you will have a regional director, but it's not posted yet, it's not ready yet, and you find somebody who's a great candidate or somebody that can play the role really well. You went to lunch with that person, you meet it through this conference, you say, by the way, we're going to be posting a job for a regional director. So that's what I mean by that.